Hello YouTube, today I'll be showing you a Barbarian Assault hard mode guide for waves 1 to 9. This guide is for the Defender role, so if you want a full demonstration of Defender 1 to 9, I'll leave a link in the description. So before I get started, I just have a quick disclaimer to tell you. This guide is not suited for any Barbarian Assault record holders or breakers. The information and strategy does vary as it's always subject to change. The opinions are subject to be different as well, but this is just a general overview of how the strategy works. I know you might not understand after I explain, but I'll try my best anyways. Some guides may tell you a wave by wave breakdown of how many spawns of each runner or healer, but in this guide I won't be telling you this. Don't worry though, I never pay attention to this anyways. So the difficulty of playing Defender is it's extremely hard all round. Not only is it difficult to learn, but it's also even difficult to master. Even I still make mistakes sometimes. Playing Defender really requires a lot of knowledge about Barbarian Assault. For my suggested levels, I'd say you want at least 34 range and 30 magic. This is because you can surge and escape. You also want level 5 Defender, because that way the Penance runners will see you from a further range. You also receive 4 logs from a green egg buff. I'm not sure if this works before level 5, but I highly suggest you get level 5 anyways, as soon as possible. In normal mode, there aren't too many runners or healers, so that's a lot less pressure off you. From level 1 to 5 on hard mode, it would take you 5 full rounds of 1 to 9. So for my gear setup, I have a Spirit Shield. It basically uses prayer to reduce the damage taken. The perk I have there is mobile, which can help me surge or escape often in case of bad surges. On my main hand, I have a few Sage. Basically this increases the range of escape. It requires 72 range to wield. Then I have a Leviathan ring which reduces even more damage. You can also use Blood Necklace for additional healing. The Silverhawk Boots is optional, but you can gain agility XP while playing. Then you can also combo that up with Nimble Outfit, which gives you even more agility XP from Silverhawks. So for my inventory setup, the only thing I need to bring is Enhanced Excalibur, just in case of extra healing. So for my action bar, I have Surge, then Escape, then I also have Anticipation and Freedom, just in case you get destroyed by an East Fighter or Ranger. You can put all 3 foods on your action bar, but if that's not the case, then you can just put the correct starting food on your action bar. I personally only put 1 food on the action bar at once. Some people, however, do put 3 of each food on the action bar, and fill it all with 9 slots total. This basically gives you faster dropping. Then finally you want Auto Retaliate off. So the basics of Defender is you want to kill the Penance runners. There are 2 traps, one west of the west cannon and one east of the east cannon. So in order to kill the Penance runners, they must step on the trap. And also in order for the trap to trigger, you must also have correct food placed adjacent to the trap. You can obtain 50 of each food from the Defender machine, south of the start point. So in hard mode, when the runner dies because of the trap, it'll damage nearby players. It's 20% of the player's max HP, so it can get really dangerous if a lot of them die at once. So each trap has 2 charges before it's broken, and 1 charge is used every time it kills a runner. Multiple runners can be killed at once, even with 1 charge left. Traps can be fixed by using normal logs, and so in order to get the normal logs, you can get them from the north middlemost section of the map. Otherwise, a green egg fired at you can get you some logs. So in order to get the runners near your trap, you must put a trail of food leading to your trap. There are 3 types of food: worms, crackers, and tofu. The healer will call the correct food for you. Your job is to call the poison type for the healer. On the top of the screen, you'll see the correct food changes, and then the correct poison changes for the healer. It'll flash whenever it changes, which happens every 30 seconds at the same time. So now the main responsibility for you is to kill the Penance runners, of course. So in addition to killing the Penance runners, you also have to lure the Penance healers. So at the start of the wave, the Penance healers will wait on the northeastmost section cave until they see someone to target. Now the reason you want to lure the healers is because you can use red eggs to kill a huge stack of them at once. Now if the healer does touch you, it will spread out and disperse across the map. This can be really troublesome because it makes games last a lot longer. It basically causes problems for everyone. So in order to lure the healer, you need to grab their attention, then trap them to the east cannon. On wave 1, there's only 1 batch of healers. On waves 2 onwards, there will be 2 batches of healers. Now calling the healer poison isn't really needed, unless the healers are either loose or there's just not enough red eggs to kill the healers. Alright, so I'm just going to show you a Barbarian Assault map of your zone. Now the common mistake I see people doing is running on the wrong places. Just avoid the northwest section, because you'll lure the Penance fighters and rangers to the eastern side. The green dots are your main zone, and this is where you'll be mostly standing. Then there's a yellow-green trail, which is basically where you'll be moving and dropping food. What I shaded in yellow is where the healers will be lured and trapped. Now before I get into the new strategy, I'll talk a little bit about the old strategy. Now in the past, people used to drop a trail of incorrect food between each cannon. Then you will drop the correct food from the Penance Cave to the east side of your cannon. And so basically before you start the lure of the healers, you'll then wait until all batch 1 healers have spawned. Then you'll move diagonally from the north of the trap to the middle near the logs. Alongside that, you'll then drop the correct food. Then you'll surge southwards the rest of the way and trap the healers. This is called the healer stalling method. And the problem with this is the penance runners will move all over the place. Alright, so I'm just going to get into the new strategy. This strategy has been around since the middle of 2016. This new innovative strategy attracts penance runners as quickly as possible to minimize the hassle. So at the start of the wave, what you want to do is collect from your defender machine. Then you want to click on the green circle I have on the screen, and while you're running, you want to drop a trail of correct food. Now the green circle should be located 5 squares directly south of the east trap. Now the reason I put this trail is it basically attracts penance runners that pass the cannon, and then it will bring them back closer to the trap. So the next thing you want to do is click 1 square north of the nearby trap, and once you land on that square, you want to drop as many pieces of correct food as possible, because runners will eat a lot of food near the traps. At this point, the healers will now get your attention, and you must quickly react. You don't want to stand there for longer than 2 seconds, or the healers will get too close and then tag you and then disperse. So the next thing you want to do is click on the next green circle. This is somewhere around the pole. Your character will then move diagonally. Now the problem is, if the food is too close to the food where you're placing near the trap, some runners might forget to eat your trap food. And then what ends up happening is, it just delays the runner from getting close to your trap later on. So once your character is just about near the pole, you want to immediately click left of the green portal. Now this is where you drop your last food trail. So as soon as your character hits 1 square south of the green portal, you want to immediately hit escape. This will then send your character flying backwards diagonally. Then immediately you want to click somewhere south of your trap. And then after that, you immediately want to click 1 square east of the cannon stairs. Now at this point, the healers will now be trapped behind the cannon's walls. From waves 6 to 9, you want to quickly click 1 square east, then quickly click back to your original spot. This will attract the attention of 1 extra healer. This is only for wave 6 to 9, so you don't need to do this before then. So now that the healers have gotten your attention, you want to click slightly south and west away from the cannon. The healers will now start following you around the cannon. So now at this point, the calls will now be changed, so you want to drop your new food on top of the square. The food that you drop at this point will then attract any penance runners that have already crossed the cannon to get around your cannon, then back near your trap. So once the healers have already crossed the cannon, you want to start to click your cannon and then fire the red eggs at the healers. Now the healers are properly trapped, and this is called a main lure. The exact spot you want to trap is on the east part of the cannon, which is 3 squares north of the stairs. So once your trap is completely broken, you want to click 2 squares south of the bottom of the cannon stairs. And so while your character is running, you want to pre-click to fix the trap. So in other words, you want to right-click to hover over your mouse. Now as soon as you exit the stairs, 1 square before your click spot, immediately hit escape. Your character will then be sent flying east of the trap. So after you escaped already, you want to immediately click to fix your trap. Then you want to spam click 1 square north of the nearby torch to your right side. Now this is called the escape fix. And then after you land on that spot, you want to drop 1 and only 1 correct food on the spot where you're standing on. So at this point, any new healer spawns will then attract your attention, and will spawn 1 by 1 on batch 2. However, they won't be able to touch you, because this is a safe spot behind the wall. The runners, on the other hand, will then start being attracted to your food and start crowding you. Now at this point, you don't want to move until all the new healers have spawned, and all the runners have clustered around you. This is supposed to kill plenty of runners at once. The next step, there are 4 different scenarios, and before moving, make sure nobody is near your trap, because you can one-hit KO any nearby players. The first scenario is if your trap is fixed and there's food near the trap. That's why, like I told you before, drop as much food as you can near the trap at the start. So in this case, you want to go 1 square south, and wait until all the runners move diagonally. This will get them all killed at the same time, and as soon as the runners move diagonally, quickly get out of the way or else you'll die. The other scenario is if there's a broken trap and there's no food near the trap. So what you want to do is click south of the trap, then immediately drop some food. And after you've dropped some food, quickly fix it as soon as possible. And while you're on the animation of fixing the trap, you want to spam escape as the healers start chasing you. So at this point, once you fix the trap, you'll immediately escape, and the healers won't actually touch you. The problem is, the runners are not guaranteed to move diagonally, and they may sometimes go to the south side. So the next scenario is, if there's a broken trap and there's food near the trap, and like the previous scenario, you want to spam escape while you're in the animation of fixing the trap, because the healers will start chasing you. Again, you'll escape in time just before the healers touch you. The problem is, like the previous scenario, the runners will not be guaranteed to move diagonally. So the last case scenario is if there's fixed trap but there's no food nearby. So what you want to do is drop food south of the trap, and then step behind the torch for a couple seconds until the healers get really too close. This will then block the runners from moving south, and most of the time, it'll then force them to move diagonally. Then as soon as you see the healers closing in on you, you want to immediately run to the cannon, and then kill the rest of the healers with red eggs. So in all 4 cases, you want to immediately run to your cannon, and then kill all the healers with red eggs. So at this point, all the healers are killed. If the runners are not all killed, there will be new runners spawning, and then you want to fix your trap and just drop food underneath it. So now, let's get into the mistakes. We all make mistakes, and even one misclick can really change the game. So first of all, don't panic if you make a mistake. Now I know some expert defenders will restart the game if they make a mistake. On an average team, you don't really need to unless you make a lot of mistakes at once. I mean, it's practice after all. So the first mistake is, if you drop incorrect food near your trap, it can be extremely hazardous. Because you know if a lot of runners step on it at once, it can instantly kill you. And if it doesn't kill you, the runners will not be hungry for 10 seconds, and it's basically stalling them from eating any nearby food later on. So the next mistake I see is of course pretty common. If the healers tag you and then go loose, then you can just ask your healer to poison them. But make sure they don't stand near the red zone, or they can mess up any future healer spawns. Now I'm not good at solving the next 2 mistakes, but I'll try my best to explain. If the runner is trapped south, then you just want to drop a trail of food leading to your trap. If the runner ends up being west, then you can just use the west trap nearby. Same thing, basically just drop a trail of correct food leading to the trap. If the runner is near the Penance Cave, then don't worry, because they'll respawn back to its runner spawn. Then again, it will be attracted to the diagonal food you set from your east trap to the spawn cave. Now food trails do disappear after a long time, so you want to quickly redrop the trail again. So here's a quick summary of this strategy. So you want to lure the healers, then trap them, then fire red eggs to kill the healers. Then you want to do your escape fix to kill more penance runners, and then you want to lure your second batch of healers and wait until they spawn. And then finally you want to wait until all the penance runners spawn, so then you can finally kill them all. So yeah, overall it's a very hard role to understand, let alone actually perfect. Again, on the description I have a full 1 to 9 run if you guys want to check it out. I'll leave a full list in the description for expert defenders. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask.